Fettuccine, he can fuss.
Fuss. I think he liked to scream at us.
Probably he means no harm.
He's really very short on charm.
You have a great gift for rhyme.
Yes, some of the time.
Enough of that!
Fessick, are there rocks ahead?
If there are, we'll all be dead.
No more rhymes! Now I mean it!
Anybody want a peanut? Welcome to episode 25 of the Bernie Newalk podcast. I'm your host, Justin Granz, and with me as always,
it's me, Chuck. Hi, everybody.
And Dan.
Hello, gentlemen. I just want to let you know that this is a very special episode. I wanted to make sure I came on this episode, and this is what I gave up to be on it tonight. I gave up seeing The Who and Iron Maiden.
Shut up!
The Who and Iron Maiden are playing at the Allstate Arena as we speak. Now, The Who is the H-U Who. It's not. It's a Mongolian metal band that absolutely rocks. That does this like throat singing metal with these awesome Mongolian. It looks like Genghis Khan and like his entire group are on stage, and they just melt your face. They're awesome. So, yeah, I think Iron Maiden is on stage right now, and I'm missing it, and my friend is texting me. He went to the show, and I'm kind of bummed that I didn't go, but I know we got a lot to talk about, so that's what I have for you guys, is I sacrifice for you two to be on the show and make sure we get it recorded, and also for our listeners, because they know what's up and they're going to be listening to this. And I know that some of us have had some adventures this week. And Dan, you had me really worried this week. Like really worried. Like I was like talking to my wife like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" Tell us about your adventure.
Yeah, man. So I had a work trip to Washington D.C. and it was really it started out really cool. So I've never been to D.C. before. So I walked all over the city Monday night. I think I put in 20,000 steps, which equates to about 10 miles.
That's good.
So I started out, I actually took the train from where I was in Maryland. I took the subway down to DC, which was an adventure of itself. Some interesting people on the subway, and I got off right next to at Metro Station downtown, which is really cool. Like tons of architecture just in the subway, in the train station there.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was just there a couple years ago.
Yeah, so got off there and I went right to the Capitol building because I wanted to see if there was anything going on, with the election coming up. And man, I was kind of disappointed. I only saw 2 protesters the entire time I was there in all of DC.
Really?
Yeah, I was
That's
shocked.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's weird considering I saw an entire field of people protesting communist China. Like I'm talking like 1,000 people last time I was there.
So there was no Senate or House or Congress in session, and the Supreme Court was not in session on Monday when I was there. So no one was there to protest, at the time. Though I think there was an IMF meeting, International Monetary Fund meeting or something, because the IMF building was completely cordoned off with cops everywhere. So anyways, I got to see a lot of cool stuff, and actually probably the coolest thing I saw was I went in the United States Botanical Gardens. It was awesome. I never thought I would like plants as much as I did when I went in there, because there was a lady who worked there who was giving like the lowdown on Venus flytraps and these really cool tube plants that like trap bugs
Oh
inside
yeah,
of them.
yeah, yeah. No, those are
Yeah.
cool.
So it was really, really cool, and I got to see a Venus flytrap actually eat a bug, which was kind of cool. I want to go back and see a lot. So, anyways, I did my 20,000 steps, my 10 miles, and then I got back to the hotel room, grabbed a drink at the hotel bar. I was trying to find a friend, a guy that used to work for me.
What kind of
at my
drink did you get?
company. I got a Captain and Diet.
Okay.
I did not trust that the hotel bartender could actually make an old fashioned. Otherwise, I would have had an old fashioned. But got a Captain Diet, and my ex coworker was not down there. I was in town for a conference that was being hosted at the hotel, so I thought I might run into him there. He was not there, so I just grabbed the drink, went back up to the hotel room, and played some Diablo. I went to bed about midnight Washington D.C. time. Set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. the next morning so I could get up and go to my conference. And I woke up at 6 p.m. the next day. Yeah. And you have no idea how disoriented I was because of that.
I kind of have an idea because you were texting me or you were sending us messages, and if you go back and read some of like what you typed, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I was seriously freaking out about this because you slept what, like 17, 18 hours straight?
It was like 16 hours straight. Yeah, I've never done that in my life. I know I've slept a long time before, but I've always like woken up periodically between it. So I woke up, right? So I woke up, I looked at my phone, and I noticed that the alarm had gone off and was silent, right? So I didn't miss my alarm. And I had actually set 3 alarms in anticipation of snoozing through 2 of them, right? So I wake up and I see good morning from Jana, my wife, and the timestamp was at like 8 a.m. And I'm like, wait a minute, my clock says 6. And I'm like, I had no idea. And it was dark out, so it kind of fit that it was 6 a.m. and it was kind of dark out, but kind of light out too. And I had no idea. And I was a little dizzy. And I was like, man, that drink hit me harder than I thought.
He did know how to make it old fashioned.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, the first thing I said to him was like, Dan, did you get drugged or did you turn into a cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, people, like a lot of people ask me, did somebody spike your drink or something?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Why would they do that to me? But
nothing was missing from your hotel room or anything?
No, but there was a weird, I opened up my door to go out and find some food, and there's somebody's random sweatshirt was on the floor outside my room.
Holy shit, dude! Do you have
like The Hangover, man? The movie The Hangover.
Yeah. I mean, did you have all your clothes on still? Did you?
I did. I was exact. Everything in the room was exactly where it was supposed to be. I was in the same clothes I went to bed in. I did figure out later on, and it took me a little while to figure this out. I went to bed without taking my contacts out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I ended up doing that 2 nights in a row, because Tuesday night when I went back to bed that night, I woke up after 16 hours and I was freaking exhausted. I could have gone back to bed right that instant and just gone to sleep, right? So anyways, I woke up and I was dizzy. It was like I was drunk or hungover without the headache. I could not walk straight. I got up, I went to go to the bathroom to, brush my teeth and get dressed and take a shower and everything. And I walked into the wall, and then so I got dressed. I went down to go look for some food after I kind of figured out that it was in the evening and not in the morning. And I'm trying to walk down the hallway to the elevator, and it was like the earth was on a 45-degree slant, you know?
What the shit?
Right?
So, yeah.
Oh my god!
So the first thing I said, I'm like, man, I'm having some kind of medical episode. So I walked about a half a mile down the street to an urgent care, which was an experience walking down there. Two people must have thought I was drunk walking down the street, right? So I had an EKG, blood labs done, COVID test, everything came back negative. My blood pressure was slightly elevated, probably because I was a little anxious about the whole thing.
I bet.
Yeah, but they came back, they said not vertigo, not COVID. The best they could tell, probably just like some kind of a virus or something. I have a follow-up appointment with my doctor tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna get double checked out, make sure
So
everything's
you
good.
didn't get bit by a spider or anything and go through any weird
Yeah, I know, right?
transformations, or like you don't have like a Moon Knight alter ego. So like you go to sleep and then at night that dude just goes out and like so there's like the Moon Knight Dan Mendro guy like wreaking havoc on the capital city, like fighting crime. You know.
Yeah, I did not find a bloody pile of clothes in the corner.
That's
or
right. I'm like,
anything.
did you look under the
That's
mattress
good.
and make sure you didn't
Good.
stuff a body in there, and then
It
just
was
throw
not
the sweatshirt outside the room?
Yeah, no, it was not a full moon, as far as I could tell.
Yeah. You don't get
But yeah,
pointy,
it's
any
really
pointy
weird.
teeth, any pointy teeth, anything.
No pointy teeth.
Gee, I wonder if there was like carbon dioxide or something getting pumped into that room.
I did think about that. Maybe it was a gas leak or anything, but I couldn't smell gas or anything. So and I didn't. There wasn't really an opportunity for me to have like eaten anything bad or anything that I could think of. I went to a Chipotle and had Chipotle, so I'm sure some people would be like, "Oh, that's probably the problem when you went to Chipotle." So I walked all over the city, and by the time I'm like, man, I probably should eat, because it was like, I started walking at 3, and because everything closes early in Washington, D.C., all the government-run museums and everything closes either at 4, 4:35, or 5:30, right? Kind of, they're like tiered. I was trying to make it into everything. I was like, man, it's like 6 o'clock and I need some food. I was at George Washington University on the campus. I just kind of ended up there, and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a Chipotle. Let me grab some food and wait for my Lyft to give me a ride back to the hotel. So I ate there. I drank like 4 bottles of water on my walk, because I grabbed 2 bottles of water from the hotel room, put them in my backpack, and then I drank those and refilled them twice, once at the Smithsonian and then once over by the Lincoln Memorial. So it was just really weird, man.
That is weird.
My
Weird story.
Like, the whole time it's going on, I'm just like, this is like he's like, yeah, I'm walking to the emergency room, and it's like, this is like a harrowing story of like, I don't know, like, do we need to get somebody to come get him or what? I don't know. Like, I was seriously worried about you. I was like, it was kind of, that's freaky.
I'm still a little dizzy today.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Even 4 days later, I'm still dizzy.
I'm like, I'm super happy you're fine and everything, but please also still get checked out. I'm glad you're going to the doctor tomorrow, because
a couple friends that are nurses are kind of like, yeah, it's probably a virus. Probably just a virus. Though my cousin, who works for the State Department, he flies all over the world. He's like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot flying from Chicago to DC. He's like, but it was probably jet lag and dehydration combined. He's like, that happens a lot. He's like, just knowing a lot of people that travel all the time, things like that do happen, where people just get really disoriented, and jet lag really kind of messes you up, and you have no idea it's happening to you. It's just I kind of feel like it's vertigo, even though they checked me. They did a vertigo test, which was really weird. And if you've never had one before,
no, I haven't.
It was almost like I thought she was doing she was practicing chiropractic on my neck. So like they like shake your head. They get your head upside down and they jerk your head around really fast and stuff. And see if it makes you dizzy.
Like the
But,
chiropractor in Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
I like the story that you were actually going and fighting crime while you thought you were
Oh
sleeping.
my god.
I think that's much cooler, and you just didn't know what happened.
Yeah, let me run down the protesters I saw. There was one guy wearing an Israeli flag out in front of the White House.
Okay.
That was the one guy I saw. There was another guy. God, I don't even know what he was protesting, but he had like all kinds of signs all over him, and he was getting in people's faces, asking them for money. And then there was a huge protest, not a huge protest, but there's a huge encampment, Indian encampment, like Native American Indians, out in the shadow of the Washington Monument. They've got like teepees and a fire set up, protesting. I guess there was some sort of a police action that ended up in the death of a Native American, and they're protesting, I guess, the lack of investigation in there. But they have some kind of permanent encampment out by the Washington Monument. So those are the only protesters I saw there.
Yeah, that's some weak sauce protesting. Because
It
I've
is,
seen
it
some
is.
crazy protesting there
Yeah.
in the couple
for
times
sure.
I've been there. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah. I mean, interesting. It sounds like you got to see a lot of them all, though. If you got all the way to Washington, if you got to the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, and all the way to Capitol, I mean, that's the whole stretch. So did
Yeah.
you see like Vietnam, World War II, like all that, or Martin Luther?
I saw. So here's what I got to go up and take pictures in and at was both sides of the Capitol building. I actually brought home a Buckeye from a congressional tree. So there's a
That's
tree.
awesome.
There's like a Buckeye tree, a huge one out on the mall side of the Capitol building.
Okay.
And there was that time of year where the Buckeyes are falling off the tree. So I grabbed one. I don't know. Maybe those are toxic. Maybe
Yeah.
and put it in my pocket and carried it around with me the whole time. The Supreme Court building, I took a bunch of pictures there. The architecture and artwork on all these buildings is just freaking amazing, by the way. The Library of Congress, the fountain, the Neptune's fountain in front was really cool. I grabbed the last ticket to the museum, the Smithsonian Space and Aviation Museum,
Air and Space Museum,
cool, but I was bummed because half of it was closed for renovations.
Yeah, when I was there, I couldn't even get in any of the building. It was completely closed. But in Virginia, they have the bigger Air and Space Museum, which has got the space shuttle there. It's got an SR-71 Blackbird. That was incredible.
Yeah,
So I highly recommend that one. Yeah, that is unreal.
Yeah, so then the whole mall, the whole length. I walked all the way down to the White House. I wanted to get to the White House.
Yeah, good luck with that.
While it was still light out. And that was completely closed off because they're already building the inaugural stands out in front.
It's closed off. It's closed off no matter what, man. You can't get close to the White House anymore. Yeah.
The guard there, the Secret Service guard I talked to, he said that the gates are coming down after the inauguration, and it'll go back to the normal gates out in front on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Which isn't that good. You don't get to see much. Like from the road all the way to Pennsylvania, you can kind of see through and get that like one little shot of the White House. I got to tell you my White House story when I was there a couple years ago. So you have to do the White House tour, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend the White House tour. It's boring. You only get to go into one wing of it. You don't really see that much. I mean, if you can go, I guess go, but prepare to be let down because you don't get to do as much as you used to be able to do. But you have to go and sign up for tickets on whitehouse.org or whatever. Go there. They put you on a list, and then they do a background check for you. They have to put all your information in. So, and then when you get there, they have to confirm everything, and they are like super, super strict with letting who gets in and everything. So I'm with the wife and the kids. wife goes through, I get the kids to go through, and then they go through my stuff, and they're like, "You need to stand over there," and I'm like,
Oh
"What?"
no!
Yeah, what'd you do?
And so I had to stand next to a garbage can that stunk for like a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe longer, as everybody else
What?
kept passing us and going through. And then another person got pulled off to the side next to me. And then he got let
What?
through. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like starting to get nervous. Like, did I commit a crime that I'm unaware of? What did I do? And it finally comes back, and they're like, yeah. So you guys put all your information in, and you put it in correctly, and then we take it because our system went down today. So we hand write everything, and then we match everything
Oh,
up when you bring your ID in. And so your birthday is on 9/2, but we had written down 9/22. And so that mismatch on their side, we had to wait like 45 minutes to an hour while they had to figure this all out. And like,
Uh,
they had to get like a second like confirmation that was out, but they were so backed up. And there were other people that were getting pulled off to the side too. But I mean, it's just like when you're pulled off to the side by Secret Service, it's a little
yeah.
nerve wracking,
Yeah, a little
especially
bit.
for like
Yeah.
45 minutes. And I'm like, okay, like, did somebody steal my, like, I'm like, maybe somebody stole my identity and like went and like murdered somebody. I don't know, like, what's going to happen, Like,
yeah.
everything was fine, so they still haven't figured me out yet.
Yeah, I may or may not have a cousin who used to be in the Secret Service, so I'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, just like it was
Yeah.
like their system was down, so they hand wrote all the records down, brought them over, and then put them in the system. And then when they were in the system, or like hand typed them into the system, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, it was stupid. Uh, anyway, awesome, awesome. Any other adventures this week? Anybody else do anything cool? Because I certainly really didn't.
Well,
Well, I
I
have an
went to
addendum.
Huh?
Oh, you have an addendum? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my flight out there, because I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to ground central of political strife. I should watch a movie kind of centered around that. So I watched A24 Civil War. Plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have either of you seen that yet?
not yet, but I hear it's good.
It was good. It was not at all what I thought it was going to be honest. So
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. I figured it would be more like kind of like a Red Dawn style Republican, propaganda movie, and it was definitely not that. So I was very. I'll kind of refrain from saying anything else about it until you guys get a chance to watch it. But I put it on Max now, so I recommend it. It's not a fun movie at all.
Guys, look it up.
It is not slanted towards like glorifying war. It's not like the Wolverines, in Red Dawn or anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, I've been wanting to see it. It's just one of those things. It's just like, do I want to watch this type of movie right now? It's
Yeah,
like that kind of
exactly.
thing. Like I have to like psych myself up because I'm much right now in the spirit of watching something like Murders in the Building.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is something
Yeah.
we can jump
The
into. Although, Chuck,
movie,
did you have something else you want to talk about?
And I mean, I just to go along with Dan's story, I went to a wedding and I dropped at the bar. It was an open bar. I dropped $20 in the tip jar, and I was treated very nicely the rest of the evening.
Oh, you had a
gotta
good
make
time.
sure they see it, right?
Yeah.
I drank I don't know how many old fashions, but it was a lot.
Hope the bourbon was good, man.
It was Jack. It was all right. It's not my favorite, but it was pretty good.
Okay.
They were pretty good.
Remember, like
Yeah.
year 2000, I went to a bar in the city and got drinks for me and my future wife, and I threw like a 10, just like, cool, I'll be back here. It's like 10 now and whatever extra from the 20 I had. I don't know. Like, it was like beers were a lot cheaper then, so I threw a 20 and it was like over $10 tip, and I'll be like, there you go. And they're like, cool. And I went back, got another drink, and it was like, I don't know if it was like whatever drink I got, it was like a quarter was what was left. So I'm just like, yeah, keep it, like whatever. And I went on, and I turned around, and it was a different person than the person I had tipped before, but it was the same
Oh
bar and it was not crowded. So I just
no!
made the assumption that, hey, we're cool, right? The quarter, I heard it bounce off the bar and it went over my right shoulder just past my ear.
No!
Boom, boom, boom. Like, and I just kept walking like, really?
Oh shit!
Like,
Oh
do I
no!
turn around and explain to this guy, like, dude, I just, over tipped so I didn't have to worry about it for a few drinks. Because, I always tip with the drinks, and it's just like, now you threw a quarter at me. This isn't cool. I never went back to that bar. It was on Sheffield Avenue. Anyway,
Did you go to Kelly and Grant's wedding downtown?
I did not.
Uh, that was at like the Masonic Temple
Yeah,
downtown. Like
yeah.
a really
Yep.
cool building and everything. And apparently the Masons are really cheap because I think I tipped like $10 or something. And they had my drink ready for me at the bar every time I walked up. Like I didn't even have to order. It was there waiting for me every time.
Mental note
Wow.
taken. Cool.
I don't remember drinking at that party, but I think I did.
Yeah, do you like there was that old guy there? Do you remember the old guy that looked like he was straight out of Poltergeist?
Dude, I don't remember much that night, so I
Oh,
must have
man.
been drinking.
The sequel or the first one?
Like
The old
I
guy in
think
the sequel?
Yeah, the old guy
Yeah, I know what
that's
you're
like
talking about.
moving
Yeah.
Yeah, like I swear to God, there was a guy there. Like he was probably a founding Mason for the Chicago downtown Mason Temple. He
Awesome.
was that old. Yeah. But,
Anyway. All right, let's
but
get
yeah.
to it. Chuck,
Yeah.
I think you guessed the murderer correctly.
It wasn't. I mean, if I did, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago,
No,
and I was like, "Oh,
I
it's the writer."
swear last week. Well, this is what you said. You said we haven't talked about that writer in a while, and then I'm
Yep.
like, nah, it's not him. It's no, they already kind of had that and went on with it. But I think I'm giving you the credit. I'm throwing the credit your way.
But wait, there's more.
There
There's
will be.
supposed to be 2, right?
That's what I think. I think there's going to be another surprise coming still. I'm still going to, that's what I said last week.
Yep.
So I'm still going to say it's obviously not going to be our favorite Irish stuntman, though, I don't think.
No.
Unless he comes back, unless Paul Rudd plays a third character, which would be fantastic.
I think I called it. He's going to be in next season as Paul Rudd.
That's my bet. That was what I thought too. I'm like, well, how would he come back? And that's exactly how he would come back.
Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
So, and we didn't get to Tony Danza.
No, but we got Ron.
We got Ron Howard, yeah.
Ron Howard.
Which was one of my favorites ever because you heard his voice like throughout. I'm like, oh, it sounds like he just like phoned it in and he's not actually going to be in it. But when he appears at the restaurant and does the soup thing with Martin Short, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I like when he pulled his eyebrow off. That was hilarious.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
So did you guys get it as soon as he pulled his eyebrows? Did you realize that it was the writer?
I
Because
realized
the writer had fake eyebrows on, right? Which is probably because all of his hair got singed off, right? That's why he had to wear. That's why he had all the fake hair because he couldn't grow hair after being.
Being burned.
I didn't catch the eyebrow thing with
good.
The writer. I knew it was him as soon as they showed him sitting in the hallway. I'm like, oh, well, it's the writer. Yeah, and then you could see the tension build after that. But fantastic episode, right? What an awesome season. Like, absolutely awesome. Like, man,
it's been good.
There's some really good TV shows going on right now. Like, it's like some high quality stuff. I feel like we're in a really good swing right now of good things going. So nothing's disappointing me as of right now.
Yeah, that last scene in Murder.
I actually have one I'll bring up later. Just remind me.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that last scene in Murders though at the restaurant, it just is so good because it's kind of like Oliver's, he finally gets his kind of moment when, it's supposed to be his bachelor party and everything. And then Ron Howard shows up and he goes, "Hey, you got your A-lister," right? And that was cool. And then he's like, "Oliver," and he's Ron, and like he's kind of validated there finally after four seasons.
That is, you know what? That's really good. He does get validated. I didn't even really think about that. He absolutely does. But I love like another heartwarming moment when Charlie grabs the picture and puts it on the wall of him. That was just a nice touch. Like, hey, this is like you two truly have become friends and are friends as we knew, but this is like the most sincere it's ever been. And but yeah, you're right. The validation with Ron Howard was great. True.
Yeah. And might I add my own personal flavor? So Ron Howard is like a really cool dude and really nice guy. My mom PA'd for Henry Winkler on the Happy Days reunion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and got to meet Ron Howard and said he was just awesome. And Henry Winkler really, really awesome.
I imagine.
Yeah. And somewhere in her house, she's got a picture of her with the two of them, which is pretty cool too.
Oh, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I love both those guys. Henry Winkler is like taking on one of the coolest careers, like post Fonz, you could imagine. I mean, obviously, you become this iconic character that, you'll always be known as Fonz, and that's just you're stuck with that. But I mean, to take what he has done, and if you guys have ever seen Barry, any chance you go out watch Barry on HBO?
I've seen bits of Barry. Yes, he's amazing in it.
So Henry Winkler plays a teacher on there, and an acting teacher, or professor, whatever. And it's my favorite role Henry Winkler's ever done. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. That show is next level though, as it is. It's so funny and so dark and just great. Everything's great about that show. Yeah, you watched some of it, Chuck? You didn't watch?
Watched the first season. I watched the first season.
Oh, you got to keep going.
No, I thought it was too dark. I was like, man, I don't know.
Hitman.
And he decides he wants to be an actor.
Okay.
But he's still a hitman.
He
can't get out of it, and it's
his nemesis is like the bald guy, right?
Sort of.
Like trying to kill him the whole time, right?
Sorta, yeah, partially. I mean, it goes back and forth, and there's a lot of different other engagements.
That's your favorite non Happy Days Henry Winkler role?
Yes.
What about the coach in Waterboy?
No, I do not like the movie Waterboy.
He was
principal in Scream.
Good.
No.
Better than. He's great, and also his role. I believe he is in Arrested Development.
Yeah, the lawyer,
and he's great in there too. But
he's great. But his son stole that one episode where his son played a young version of him, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was very.
Anyway, yeah. So Murders in the Building, I knocked it out of the park again. One more episode. I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
We have at least one more season.
We get another season. It sounds like they're gonna do one more. Yeah, at least. Yeah. They didn't say it was only one more. They just said it is renewed for another. So, yeah, another one. Chuck, do you want to talk about the one that's disappointing you, or should we move into another one?
It's not. It's a disappointment. It's not a disappointment to me. I don't care. But have you heard of this show, The Tracker? You heard of this show? It's like on CBS.
Is that the one with the dude from This Is Us?
This Is Us, yes.
Okay.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
He's like the super hot dude.
Right.
He's
like
I'm a tracker.
Okay, first of all, This Is Us was the worst show that I was ever forced to watch. My wife would watch it, and I just hated it so much.
There are parts of that show I think are absolutely fantastic, yet it's insufferable. Tease of how Daddy died was terrible. It was just, and
then they made the guy out to be like the superhero, which drove me bonkers because I'm like, he wasn't, but whatever. It just, there was so much of that show, and every episode was like, let's see how we can make the audience cry this episode.
Yeah.
It was
super manipulative. It was,
ridiculous.
but it had moments. It did have some moments. I'm going to say it did. I thought the acting was excellent. Anyway, go ahead, Tracker. Why do you love Tracker so much?
No, I do not. Do not put that on me, bro. I do not like this show. Okay, I have
episode
a coworker.
25. Chuck loves Tracker.
No, that is not the title of this episode. Okay, so Tracker is basically Knight Rider without the car. Okay, so, like that's totally what the show is, and so he goes on these like missions every week to find somebody who's missing or whatever. And
does he track them?
Yeah, exactly.
Does he like track footprints?
That's where the name comes from. Like he tracked them. This is stupid. I don't know why
like does he track like what does he do to track things? Does he do like is he like looking like, oh look, this blade of grass has been cut, so they walk through this way?
He actually brings that up in one episode. I have watched way too much of this show.
Okay.
And I don't want to admit it because my wife likes it. But anyway,
these are size 8.5s. That's a small foot.
Worst. Yeah. So anyway, okay. So this week the new season started or whatever. And so I was at work the other day, and my buddy Bob likes the show, so he brought it up. And he's like, have you seen the latest Tracker? You got to watch it. There's aliens. I'm like, what? Aliens? That seems like a stretch. Okay. He's like, they ruined it. They ruined it. Jump the shark. But I got to go watch this episode. So last night after we watched.
You finally like got me like, now I'm interested.
So we watched Agatha and everything. And I'm like, all right, hey, throw Tracker on just to see how bad it goes. It was pretty dumb, like really dumb. And there's like a moment where he's like in a black site where there's supposedly aliens or an alien ship is coming or some shit. And his brother breaks into the black site and breaks him out. It's totally unbelievable. They never showed an alien, so I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, I was really hoping they'd go all the way with the alien thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like really ballsy for like a show that has no supernatural or like not supernatural, but like something like super something out there and flip it into a sci-fi show of some sort or X-Files.
Did you watch Sugar?
No, not yet. Don't see.
No.
You just saying that I already that kind of ruins something for me.
Oh, Sugar
it's
has
like
aliens
stop
in it?
talking about it. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. No, I don't want to even know that. See, now I didn't even know that. Now it's like
ghosts and
Sugar. God damn it, Dan!
Come on, man.
I've been waiting to like get HBO again to watch it, and like, damn it.
No, it's Apple TV
or whatever.
Yeah,
you should probably get Apple TV because there's
I know,
a really good show on there.
So you guys go talk about Shrinking. Go ahead, talk about Shrinking for a little bit without spoiling anything.
Oh, so good.
I'm gonna eat this chocolate. Go ahead.
Harrison Ford is on point right now. I don't know about. I've watched the first 3 episodes. How far are you in, Dan?
Jan and I just watched the 3rd episode before we got
that. There was a moment where like the neighbor's husband. Ted, is that his name? Like that's his real name, like the actor, right? And him and Harrison Ford are having that conversation.
It's Derek.
Derek, that's it, right?
Liz's husband.
Liz's husband, Derek. Yeah. That conversation was amazing. Like I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah. The only non-psychiatrist who's actually, and he gives the best advice of all of them.
Exactly. He was like the smartest guy there. It was great. Yeah. The whole season's been good so far.
Oh yeah, and then what's his name? Brett Goldstein.
Oh yeah, dude.
That whole scene with
Girl. Oh man. Oh man.
Not Alice. What's her name? The daughter. What's the daughter's name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know names. I suck with names.
Clementine.
No, it is Alice. It is Alice. Yeah.
Yes.
She just stalks him and then confronts him. It's really hard to take. But watching him without his goatee or his beard and everything, after seeing him be, what's his name for
the soccer player.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude! That was a hard scene to watch because you're like, how would you even approach that?
Yeah.
How would you even talk to somebody after that? That's crazy.
So he plays the guy he's the drunk driver that kills Jason Segel's wife. And he comes back to kind of to say sorry and start healing, and of course that's kind of the impetus for him spiraling down in the season. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll get to it, guys. It'll probably be after the season's over, but enjoy it. I know there's only so much I can keep up with, and like the amount of stuff that I got cooking right now. There's a lot of shows.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
This is the cream of the crop, man. Shrinking is.
Well,
is
but wait. Murders in the Building, and then right now I'm What We Do in the Shadows just dropped 2 episodes this last week, and they were fantastic.
I don't see
So
how
that came
What We
back.
Do in the Shadows could ever win out over Shrinking.
I don't know, Dan. It's freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious.
It's a different type of show, though. Also, it's a completely different
I know
type of
I've
show.
seen a few episodes, but still, like if I, I'm sitting here trying to pick what I'm going to watch, Shrinking's going to win.
Sure, that's a fair argument if you have both streaming services. But if I already got the one, I'm going to watch the stuff on the one I have, and then shift over. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying there's a lot of good stuff because that, and then we started watching Reservation Dogs. Have you guys heard of Reservation Dogs?
I have heard of it. Yeah.
So, it's about life on a reservation, and it's about a group of mid to later teenagers who are causing a lot of trouble. The opening sequences, they're stealing a chip truck with like a bunch of like Frito chips or whatever in there, stealing it to deliver it to a group of meth dealers, and or like other ne'er-do-wells in the community that are outside of the reservation because they're trying to get as much money as possible so they can get out of this reservation because it's killing them and they hate it. And
interesting.
And so the one main character, every time he gets hit in the head or whatever, kind of goes into a vision quest of sorts where he sees one of his ancestors sitting on a horse with like the full get up and everything, and the horse is like really dumb and like won't stand right and everything. Or it gets really goofy and funny, then it gets very serious. It's very heartfelt. We did 3 episodes this week, and I totally want to watch more. That's cool. So that's why I just got so much going on, like so much. So, I will get back to Shrinking because Severance trailer dropped, and I will absolutely have Apple by January 17th to watch the new season of Severance because I probably want to rewatch season 1 again before I get into 2 because there's like only bits and pieces I can remember out of season 1 because it's so bonkers. But trailer for Severance is amazing because
it should be it should be like an unwritten rule that there always needs to be like a 5 to 10 minute recap video available to sum up the previous season to catch you back up for the current season.
Exactly, because you know what? We're in a different universe than we used to be. So my wife is watching. She's gonna hate that I'm talking about this, but she doesn't listen to this. She's watching Gilmore Girls on Netflix because it's something she could throw it on and let it roll, do its thing. Yeah. And she doesn't even like it that much. She's like, eh. She's like, these characters are awful. She's like, this is the problem with America, and then she goes through a tirade about it. Anyway, but that show was 7 seasons long. It started in 2000 and ended in 2007. Some shows start and don't get their second season for like 3, 4, 5, 7 years sometimes. Some of these things are taking so long in between. Like you made the argument about Agatha, that your kids and your wife had no clue about what happened in WandaVision. They had forgotten. So it's just like this would be another example of, how long has it been since, like, I think Severance will be 2-3 years since the first season. So many of these shows that just take forever between seasons now.
Well, I think it's funny that you brought up Gilmore Girls as an example because didn't Gilmore Girls get a revival like 10 years after it was canceled too?
I think they did, didn't they?
Well, they did it. They did a movie, I think.
And they did like a mini-series, mini-series, and I believe there's a new season coming like soon. Like they're bringing it back up.
I honestly don't know much about the Gilmore Girls verse, but I'll take your word for it. I
Yeah,
peripherally like I
watch
like
it.
know kind of what's going on peripherally. So
Yeah.
I just kind of walk in and make a snarky comment about the guy that always wears his hat backwards, and that's about it. You know.
I don't know. I've never seen an episode, but Jana and Kaylee watch it, and they're really excited that it's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I wouldn't watch it.
We're not the
It was on-
demographic.
It was on the WB. I didn't watch anything on the
The
WB.
CW. The CW.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
It
come on,
just
get it right,
spawned
man.
A whole bunch of other shows, though, didn't it?
I have no idea. What's
Yeah,
crazy
well,
is Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn
Yeah.
is in the show. James Gunn's brother. He plays the dude who takes over for Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, with the mohawk thing and shoots the
Mhm.
yeah. Sean Gunn's like a main character in that show. Also,
Yeah.
Danny Pudi from Community. He's got a big
Yeah.
part in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's really strange. You see like these up and comers or just like strange cameos of people. Yeah. Melissa McCarthy's got a huge role in it. Speaking of from, Only Murders in the Building. Weird. They're all young. It's strange, It's like I thought this show was like recent, and it was like no, it came out 25 years ago.
Yeah. It's long. It's an older show.
It's crazy. So many things that you think about, like, oh man, like 2005 was just like a few years ago. That was 20 years ago now, man.
Yep. It's
Nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. Time's a circle, and it just I can't make any ends meet on it whatsoever.
Giant hole in the ground.
It's so bizarre.
Hey,
So speaking
I'm
of time is a
20
circle. Oh, what a great segue. Let's talk about Agatha.
All right.
It's
Keep it
great.
on point.
Trippy episode, man. Trippy episode.
It was
Justin,
time was a circle
once
in this
again,
episode.
Once again, Justin got it right.
I got it right that time. Yeah. Okay, I nailed that one. Yeah, death.
Yeah.
I did.
Without a doubt.
But were you actually right about him being Billy Maximoff?
Yeah,
Right?
I got Billy Maximoff right,
too.
and then I got death
Yep.
right. I got those two right.
No, because now the end of that episode, it's like he may not be who everybody thinks he is. That was the whole tarot card reading. The question was, which one am I?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Well, no, because
confusing.
I think that's because he lived with those people for like 3 years or so, and he said because when she said something about his mom, and he's like, she's not my mom. I think he was referring to that other lady.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he's Wiccan. He's Billy Maximoff. I'm sure that. I mean, they could augment it into like he's William Kaplan still, but whatever. I don't know. He's Billy Maximoff for the.
I don't know. I feel like
Pretty
William
sure.
Kaplan died in that car accident, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Poor Billy Kaplan. Pouring out for Billy Kaplan.
yeah.
Yeah, and talk about just trippy episode.
Loved
It
it.
started off, and I'm just like, okay, kind of vibing with it, and then, we talked about like, hey, are all the these people dead? And they're bringing up the characters that we thought had died or possibly died, which made sense. I mean, they got thrown in the mud. So did Agatha. Why would Agatha survive and they wouldn't? So the mud doesn't really kill them. But I love how all the little teases of seeing her, we have to save Agatha, or like all her like little meltdowns all kind of came to fruition in this episode. And then, where speaking of time being non-linear and everything happening at once, and just it was a really well executed episode when it comes to like
good.
that sort of time. Like I don't know, I haven't seen like it done that well since like the first episode of Star Trek what was it, Deep Space Nine. It was like that first, like that they did a very good job in that one too.
That episode was how the whole Acolyte series should have been done. That was well done, and Acolyte did a shit job of doing the same kind of thing, of showing things, bits and pieces here or there, and then it's supposed to get reconstructed in one episode, and it did not execute. Agatha executed really, really well.
Yeah, if they would have taken that third episode and that 7 episode and just sprinkled it in through the other episodes as you went, I agree. That could have been better.
I mean, you can't polish a turd, man.
Everything else in that show is freaking great.
Okay.
And screw you, Chuck, because you're part of the problem.
I'm not part of the problem.
You are part of the problem.
I love Agatha. Agatha's well written and well acted.
Agatha
It's
is
a hell of a
fantastic.
show.
It's fantastic. What a great send off for Eva Perón, though, right? Did I get her name right?
She was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I like that we finally get to find out who Rio is, Death, and I don't know, like I haven't read up, like because everybody gets pissed off about everything, as we were talking about earlier, Chuck. I don't know if people are gonna get mad, like, oh, this is Death, and they're gonna put it in this little show, because Death is like beyond like huge, like it is Death, you know,
Right? Yeah.
like a god. It's like that level tier, like on like above Galactus even, like it's huge, a celestial, like the dude that's coming out of the ground um in the Eternals at the end, Erisham, when he's coming out of the ground, bigger than that. Like Death is supposed to be that big in this universe. That's like in the original comic books of, I've talked about it before, Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos doesn't want to make everything balanced. He wants to impress Death because he's in love with her. And so he gets all the gauntlet pieces, kills half the universe to show how powerful he is to impress her. And it doesn't impress her. She's like, you're lame. You know, she's that powerful. You know, so it's like, I don't know if like the universe is going to be like, oh, this is stupid. You know, like, look at it, just in the stupid witch show. But we'll see. I'm fine with it. I don't care. You know, it's like, they picked the perfect actress to play her. So, yeah, who wouldn't want to be Death in a TV show, right?
You know, I think it's perfect because it also explains how Agatha has kept herself from dying all these years. She seduced Death, or vice versa. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll find out.
But she's not. All of these women are like hundreds of years old. These witches, right?
Yeah. So. Yes, but Agatha is hated by the witches.
Well, she's the most notorious of them. She's like, yeah, throughout time, done all those things. Did you guys catch that in the last episode when Billy was looking through and said, hey, search for Agatha, look up Agatha Harkness, and he's going through all the websites, and he saw all those pictures that go way back, like to the 1800s, the early pictures of her, and then like stories. Yeah. One of them was from like the 1960s or 70s, where Dolly Parton was fighting with her because she was Jolene.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
I didn't catch that. No.
Yeah, that's hysterical. That's a little. There was a picture.
There was a photo. Well, it looked like a photograph of her from like before photographs existed, and I was like, "That's bizarre." But
I didn't catch that. No.
Anyway, yeah. So here's the thing. Are the Salem 7 dead? So they all got flipped upside down, went into the swords. Are we done with that? And then she sacrificed herself to save everybody. And are we done with the Salem 7? Now we just have to deal with Death. Death is now the new bad guy in the show.
Probably.
I would think so,
Probably.
Right? I mean,
Agatha's still the bad guy, but you know that it's kind of interesting that everybody like what was the time witch, what was her name, that character, the one that this last episode was all about, her backstory.
I forgot her name also, but yes,
yeah.
we'll call her Evita.
He wants to save her, right, for whatever reason, because she saw her future, right, and Billy's future also. So for whatever reason, Agatha's kind of like the anti-hero.
Yeah, I mean, it's her story, or is it Billy's? But I think it's her and Billy's story, and she is the villain that we root for because she is like the anti-hero. I would agree, and I think like the greater good of it all is why she needs to survive. Also because they probably want to use her in other stories. But I don't think they're going to kill her. I don't think Agatha gets killed. I think Agatha survives the show.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's she's too good to kill her off, but I would, if I had to guess how this show ends, it would end with, I think it ends with her sacrificing herself to save Billy somehow. That's my thought.
I could see her save Billy. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see it. I don't see her sacrificing herself like she sacrifices either her power, she sacrifices some part of her, which is significant enough to make a good narrative, but not enough to kick her out of the universe.
Right,
So she
right,
can be
yeah,
used
yeah.
again later on.
I don't think the purpose of this is to save Billy, but I think it's to find his brother. Because I think that's Billy's goal in going down the road was really to find his brother, right?
Who
Yes.
gets the power? Do they all get power, or just one of them?
Well, it's supposed to be only one can finish the road according to the story, right?
Well,
No.
the last time her and Rio were the two that finished it.
Well,
Is
but
what I
Rio's
presume.
not a witch.
Two.
But Rio can't
Rio-
really
Rio's
die,
dead,
right?
yeah.
She's dead.
Now, in episode 1, when she was fighting Rio, she said, "You can't kill me." Remember that?
Well,
She's
she
like,
conned her.
but I can hurt you. I can hurt you, and I can make you feel. I can torture you, basically. And she's like, "Yeah, but what fun would it be when I don't have my powers?" You know. So
Mhm.
kind of luring her, each manipulating each other. So can death actually? Does death come and just collect the lives, or does death actually do the killing? And I don't know. I don't know how this
Well,
character
she
is
said
gonna.
she was there to collect her bodies.
She said that.
Yeah.
When did she say that? What part was that?
In the first episode,
Does she?
she's like, yeah, she's like, I get my bodies and you get your powers and I get my bodies.
Oh,
if I come to the road.
fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. That's pretty good. So, okay. I don't know. 2 more episodes next week. I don't think we're gonna be able to record next week, though, guys.
Why not? What's going on?
Oh, it's Halloween. I got like.
Oh,
I might
yeah.
have like a
Yeah,
bunch
I'll
of
be
people
doing
over and stuff.
Halloween
So I don't know. We might
too.
have to figure out another day. But we'll have 2
Okay.
of these episodes. The finale. I mean, next week's going to be our finale week because we're going to have 2 episodes of Agatha and Murders are both going to finish.
Mhm. Yep.
So we're going to have to figure out a way to talk about all that stuff. Anyway.
Cool. Yeah, it'll be done, right?
Yeah, it'll be done. So any predictions about the finales for?
Agatha?
Yeah. Did we talk about any? We talked a little bit about predictions for Murders, right? We kind of said.
Is
I
Murders
still
done
I still
next
think
week?
there's going to be it's done next week. I still think there's going to be another hand in this, and it's not just the writer. Just because I said it last week, I'm going to stick to it. I don't know if I don't feel as strongly about it anymore, but I still think there should be 2. But,
yeah, usually there's a callback to early in the season of some sort, some bit character we've totally forgot about.
John McEnroe.
Who?
Yeah, John McEnroe's the murderer.
John McEnroe's the other murderer. He's athletic. He can get across there in time, carry that body, throw it in the incinerator.
That is hilarious.
Or it's Tony
Why?
Danza.
I mean, I totally, I get it that the writer took the script that Saz wrote and killed her because he wanted to pass it off as his own. How did the script get in the case of beer? Where did they get that case of beer? Oh, did she bring it to the party?
I don't know.
I don't know. No, it seemed like that
the
was
previous season. At the end of the previous season, didn't she went upstairs to get wine? But I thought they had a case of beer too. Maybe not.
So the title of the finale is My Best Friend's Wedding. So I think that kind of tells you whatever's going to go down is going to go down at the wedding.
At the wedding, and there's going to be a murder at the end of the wedding.
So don't forget, there's an escaped killer still on the loose, right?
I think she'll come back next season. She might have a bit part. I don't think she's going to play into this main story though. I don't think she plays into the Zaz murder at all.
No, well, I mean, somebody
I
was
think it,
there to clean it up, right? Because the timing of the whole thing.
I think
But
she's a red herring.
what is her connection though to those characters?
I think she just happened to be in there at the time. She was in Charles's apartment, right? Through the hidden entrance in the closet. Because they revealed that's how she was moving around the building in the first season.
So she's the one that was in there and got Saz's body out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, good call.
We're gonna mark it down there. I don't know who it's gonna be. I just think there will be a second one. I don't know who it is though. I can't at this point. It'll be a surprise to me, whatever it is. So,
Yeah.
all right, and then there's gonna be 2 more episodes of Agatha. I don't know. It's a little harder to predict with 2 more episodes. I think we kind of already said what we were gonna say there, though. Do you think, Chuck? You said she's gonna sacrifice herself in some meaningful way, sacrifice some meaningful part of her to allow Billy to accomplish whatever he needs to do or save him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't think we're gonna have Tommy in this show. I think it's gonna end with another clue to Tommy, and it's gonna allow Billy.
Maybe.
I think it'd be kind of cool if they they had the WandaVision show, and now you have the Agatha show, and then why don't we do like a Billy Maximoff show next?
Fuller House, the twins.
Where he takes on another genre of some sort, because like we had the sitcoms, now we have the horror genres and witch, things, and then let's give Billy like a series where he's looking for his brother.
Yeah, the first show that came to my mind was Bosom Buddies, but
Oh, speaking of that, let's go back to murders for a second. There's gotta be some kind of perfect strangers thing.
Belky
in the
Bartakamus is the one who killed.
There you go.
Is the true killer.
I think the finale for Agatha is going to have something to do with the Salem 7 and some kind of reconciliation between Agatha and her mother. It's going to be a Disney ending.
Okay.
I don't think don't give a shit.
No, you don't think it goes back that way?
I don't think they will even bring it up.
So I think she gets a bad rap because the way she kills other witches is by absorbing her power, but I don't think she can control that really, right?
No, she can't control them hitting her.
Right, exactly. So then the whole witches thing is killing other witches for their power on purpose, and it's all these other witches trying to kill her to steal her power, and then
so it's just accidental. She's just accidentally.
No, it's just an irony, right?
Right.
The irony is that she can't be killed that way. So,
all right,
that's kind of how I see it going.
All right, mark it 8. All right, put a bow on it.
Yeah,
sure, let's do it.
All right,
at some point, you gotta get up on Shrinking, dude, and then
I will.
And then Chuck, you gotta check out Fargo so we can talk some Fargo because I'm a few episodes in now.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can watch that show, to be honest. I'll give it a shot.
I went and saw Fargo at the theater with you, didn't I?
Yeah.
You and I went and saw that together, didn't we?
Yeah, but again,
and I think you walked out of it going, "What did I just watch?" You're like,
I did.
Why were you laughing? Why were you laughing?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You put him in a wood chipper. Why were you laughing? I'm like,
yeah, I agree 100%.
I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should discuss it because I think it is unique how movies and TV shows affect me, where it doesn't seem to affect you guys the same way. And I don't know if that's like a naivete on my part or
I'm
what.
Just soaking it all in is all I'm doing. It is so like meticulous on detail, and like the musical score is so good.
Yeah. It's so high quality. It's really well done. And you know what? And Chuck, to your point of like, and I think this is something that should bleed into another one of our podcasts, but just to like touch on it when it comes to like watching something with dark humor or that type of thing. Like I, as I've aged, have like less of a taste for horror and those types of things, and like the torture porn shows like Saw or that kind of thing. Like I just hate it. I don't want anything to do with it. It just like it yeah, but but you give me something like when dark crazy things happen, like I could be all in with when its execution is the storyline is like, dumb and or bad people are doing things and they're paying for it. And this is how it comes around. And like, like we talked about, like how like I have those anxieties about like having a dream where you do something wrong and then like you just compound it with the lie and the lie gets bigger and bigger. That's what this is. And it's like that intensity is what this show has, and I love it. I love it. So I don't get that. I don't get that in like straight up horror movies or slasher flicks or things like that, which I think are kind of dark and like, you know.
Sometimes too predictable too and
Sure.
boring.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know. Topic for another day. Let's cue the music and get out of here. It's late and I have a long day tomorrow. And next week, yeah, we're gonna have to figure out. We might have to go a few days late on it because I have we have a holiday on Thursday. Friday, I'm going to a pre-release of the new Star Wars card set, Twilight of the Republic, if anybody's interested. And so I don't know. It'll have to be after that Friday.
Cool.
We'll figure it out. So
All right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
stay tuned,
Peace.
loyal listeners.
Great.
Peace out.
Excellent. See you guys later.
Bye
Peace.
bye.